When deciding whether to install a single or two-family meter during a home conversion, several factors come into play. Firstly, let's consider resale value. A two-family meter might be more appealing to potential buyers if they foresee converting the property back into a two-family unit in the future. This flexibility can be a significant selling point. Secondly, zoning regulations are crucial. Check your local zoning ordinances to determine if the property is zoned for single-family or two-family use. If it's zoned as single-family, installing a two-family meter might be problematic, potentially violating local regulations. Thirdly, based on these considerations, a recommendation can be made. If the property has a high likelihood of reverting to a two-family setup and local zoning allows it, installing a two-family meter could be the better choice. However, if the property will remain a single-family home and zoning supports this, a single meter pan is generally appropriate. Now, regarding the need for permission from the power company, also known as the POCO, for converting from a two-family to a single-family electrical service, several aspects need to be examined. Firstly, local building codes will dictate whether a permit is necessary for this type of conversion. Contact your local building department to clarify permit requirements. Secondly, the power company, or POCO, has specific requirements for changing meter service. Contact them directly to inquire about their procedures for converting from a two-family to a single-family meter setup. Some POCOs might mandate a permit or inspection before authorizing the change. Thirdly, and as a final recommendation, it's imperative to consult with both local authorities and the POCO before making any modifications to the electrical service. Adhering to all relevant codes and regulations is paramount to ensure safety and compliance. Let's delve deeper into the technical considerations for each of these points. When evaluating resale value, consider the potential market for the property. Is the neighborhood primarily composed of single-family homes, or are there numerous multi-family dwellings? This will influence the desirability of a two-family meter. In areas with a mix of property types, the added flexibility of a two-family meter could be a significant advantage. Zoning regulations are often complex and vary widely between municipalities. Thoroughly review the zoning ordinance for the specific property address. Look for sections related to permitted uses, density restrictions, and requirements for accessory dwelling units. In some cases, even if the property is currently configured as a single-family home, the underlying zoning might still allow for a two-family dwelling. This could make a two-family meter a permissible option. Conversely, if the zoning strictly prohibits multi-family use, installing a two-family meter could create code violations and potential fines. When assessing the likelihood of future conversion back to a two-family unit, consider factors such as family size, potential rental income, and long-term investment goals. If the current owners anticipate needing separate living spaces for extended family members or plan to rent out a portion of the property in the future, a two-family meter could provide valuable flexibility. However, if the property is intended to remain a single-family home indefinitely, a single meter pan is generally the most straightforward and cost-effective choice. Regarding local building codes, it's important to understand that electrical work is typically heavily regulated to ensure safety and prevent hazards. Converting from a two-family to a single-family electrical service often involves modifying the service entrance, panel board, and branch circuits. These modifications must comply with the National Electrical Code, or NEC, as well as any local amendments. The NEC provides detailed requirements for conductor sizing, overcurrent protection, grounding, and wiring methods. A qualified electrician should be consulted to ensure that all work is performed in accordance with these codes. The permitting process typically involves submitting plans to the local building department, obtaining approval, and scheduling inspections. The inspector will verify that the work meets all applicable code requirements. Failure to obtain the necessary permits or comply with code regulations can result in fines, delays, and potential safety hazards. When contacting the power company, be prepared to provide detailed information about the proposed changes to the electrical service. The POCO will likely require documentation such as a site plan, electrical load calculations, and a description of the work to be performed. They may also conduct their own inspection of the property to assess the existing electrical infrastructure and determine the feasibility of the proposed changes. The POCO's requirements for changing meter service can vary depending on factors such as the size of the service, the voltage level, and the local grid conditions. They may require upgrades to the service entrance conductors, metering equipment, or transformers to accommodate the new configuration. In some cases, the POCO may charge fees for these upgrades. It's also crucial to consider the electrical load requirements of the property. A single-family home typically has lower electrical demands than a two-family dwelling. Therefore, it may be necessary to reduce the size of the service entrance conductors and panel board to match the anticipated load. This can result in cost savings on materials and labor. However, it's essential to ensure that the new service is adequately sized to handle the property's electrical needs, including lighting, appliances, heating, and air conditioning. Load calculation should be performed in accordance with the NEC to determine the appropriate service size. In addition to the electrical considerations, it's also important to address any plumbing or mechanical systems that may be affected by the conversion. For example, if the two-family dwelling has separate heating and cooling systems for each unit, these systems may need to be consolidated or modified to serve the single-family home. Similarly, if the plumbing system has separate water meters or sewer connections for each unit, these may need to be reconfigured. These modifications should be performed by qualified plumbers and HVAC technicians in accordance with local codes and regulations. Finally, it's crucial to maintain accurate records of all work performed during the conversion. This includes permits, inspection reports, electrical diagrams, and equipment specifications. These records will be valuable for future maintenance, repairs, or renovations. They may also be required for resale or insurance purposes. Let's consider some specific examples to illustrate these concepts. Suppose a homeowner is converting a two-family home into a single-family residence in a neighborhood zoned for single-family use. The homeowner intends to live in the property indefinitely and has no plans to rent out any portion of it. In this case, a single meter pan would likely be the most appropriate choice. The homeowner should contact the local building department to obtain the necessary permits and schedule inspections. They should also contact the power company to arrange for the removal of the second meter and the reconfiguration of the electrical service. The electrician should perform load calculations to determine the appropriate service size and ensure that all work complies with the NEC. On the other hand, suppose a homeowner is converting a two-family home into a single-family residence in a neighborhood zoned for multi-family use. The homeowner anticipates that they may want to rent out a portion of the property in the future or use it as a vacation rental. In this case, a two-family meter might be a more desirable option. The homeowner should consult with the local zoning department to determine whether a two-family meter is permitted. They should also contact the power company to discuss the requirements for maintaining a two-family service. The electrician should ensure that the electrical system is designed to accommodate the potential load of both units, even if only one unit is occupied at a time. In summary, the decision of whether to install a single or two-family meter during a home conversion depends on a variety of factors, including resale value, zoning regulations, power company requirements, and the homeowner's long-term goals. Thorough research and consultation with qualified professionals are essential to ensure a safe and compliant installation. By carefully considering all of these factors, homeowners can make informed decisions that will serve their needs for years to come. Remember to prioritize safety and compliance throughout the entire process. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it's always best to leave it to the experts. Hire a licensed and insured electrician to perform all electrical work. Obtain all necessary permits and inspections before starting any work. Follow all applicable codes and regulations. By taking these precautions, you can ensure a successful and safe home conversion.